Welcome to TrumpetStudio.com. Presents the Ultimate Trumpet Podcast.
The only show dedicated to the reality of playing, where we treat the instrument not as a mystery, but as a discipline. Whether you're running through your morning routine or prepping for a massive symphony gig, we've got your back.
Today in the studio, we're unpacking a truly fascinating piece of writing called Mouthpieces and Their Missions by Michael Droste.
I was hooked from the first paragraph. He approaches the trumpet mouthpiece not as some shiny, magical accessory you just buy to fix your high notes, but as a piece of applied acoustics. He calls them problem-solving devices.
Which is so refreshing. The trumpet mouthpiece is the smallest object in the brass ecosystem, but it carries the largest consequences. It literally translates your breath into vibration. Droste kicks things off with the absolute industry standard, the Bach 3C. He calls it the Universal Translator.
Because it utterly refuses to take sides. It's got a medium cup depth, so you get enough volume for a really resonant, full-core sound, but it's efficient enough that you aren't dying at the end of a 2-hour rehearsal. But what I loved most was Droste's specific word choice here. He says what defines the 3C is honesty.
Right. It does not conceal your flaws. If you have inefficient airflow or an unstable pitch tendency or a sloppy embouchure, the 3C puts it on a billboard. Players often say they feel exposed on it, which is exactly why educators with decades of teaching experience rely on it as a diagnostic baseline.
Exactly. If you sound bad on a 3C, you don't need a new mouthpiece. You need to practice. Any improvement you make on a 3C translates cleanly to other equipment. It's the control specimen.
Now, if you want to talk about taking off the training wheels and stepping onto the orchestral stage, Droste moves us to the Bach 1C, the Symphonic Engine.
Oh, the 1C deep cup, wide diameter. It is designed with one single goal, sound weight. It produces this dark, massive tone that is just rich in fundamental frequencies. But Droste gives a great warning. This mouthpiece rewards patience and punishes force.
You cannot muscle a 1C. You have to move a massive volume of air to light up that deep cup. In a symphony setting, playing Mahler or Bruckner, it's incredible.
But the cost of that symphonic gravitas is agility. You're trading away your endurance. If you want to play rapid articulations or live in the upper register on a 1C, you better have world-class breathing mechanics. You have to build that engine, or the mouthpiece will just exhaust you.
Which perfectly sets up the total opposite end of the spectrum. Droste brilliantly dubs the Schilke 1-2A-4A the Lead Scalpel.
Precision instrument is right. For those unfamiliar with Schilke's labeling, the A means a very shallow cup, and the lowercase a at the end denotes a super tight, focused backbore. It's pure efficiency engineering.
It compresses the air column. That backbore resistance gives you something to push against, so notes way above the staff just speak instantly and lock right into pitch. Tone color is entirely secondary here. It's not about sounding warm. It's about slotting, projection, and slicing cleanly through a screaming big band.
The margin for error is razor thin, though. If your attack isn't perfectly lined up, the 12A4A will crack the note without mercy. It's mandatory for high-volume commercial gigs, but again, it demands disciplined air.
Let's pivot to something a bit more middle of the road. Droste talks about the Yamaha 16C4, calling it the modern neutral.
This is for the gigging player who needs contemporary refinement. It's roughly the equivalent of a Bach 1.5C, but what defines Yamaha is their manufacturing consistency. With modern CNC lathing, every 16C4 is identical. If you're a pro who plays multiple horns, swapping between B-flat, C trumpet, and piccolo in a single concert, you want a mouthpiece that behaves predictably.
It stays out of your way. Its neutrality is its superpower. But what if you want to completely reinvent the wheel? That's where the Monette B2 comes in, the Philosopher's mouthpiece.
Monette is a whole different world. They reject traditional brass assumptions. They add a massive amount of weight to the mouthpiece and focus heavily on resonance alignment and pitch center stability. Because of that heavy blank, the energy of your lip vibration doesn't dissipate into the thin brass of a standard cup. It projects directly out of the bell.
But Droste notes that the transition period is brutal. These mouthpieces resist manipulation. If you are used to bending notes into tune with your jaw or using arm pressure to hit high notes, the Monette won't let you do it. It forces you to relax your embouchure and rely purely on efficient airflow. If you prefer science over philosophy, Droste highlights the GR series, the Modular Scientist. This is for players who want to treat rims, cups, and backbores as mathematical variables.
It's so analytical. You can adjust the resistance or the volume of the cup without changing the alpha angle of the rim. That means your lips still feel the exact same contour, but the acoustic properties of the horn change. It prevents you from having to do a complete embouchure reset just to play a different style of gig.
And speaking of different gigs, we finish with the hybrid thinker, the Shew Lead.
This solves a very specific, very frustrating problem. How do you live above the staff without sounding thin, brittle, and shrill? Shew needed a mouthpiece that gave him the efficiency of a lead scalpel, but preserved enough tonal body so he could still play a lyrical jazz solo.
It bridges the gap. It keeps the articulation musical rather than mechanical. It's the ultimate chameleon for studio musicians who are reading constantly shifting stylistic charts.
Droste wraps up the piece with a line that really resonated with me. He writes, "Mouthpieces do not create musicians. They magnify habits, expose inefficiencies, and reward discipline."
It's the absolute truth. The right mouthpiece doesn't make playing easier, it just makes honesty unavoidable.
And that's going to do it for this episode of the Ultimate Trumpet Podcast. If this deep dive into applied acoustics got you rethinking your setup, remember that new gear only magnifies your daily habits. To really build that symphonic engine or lead scalpel endurance, you need the right fundamentals.
Exactly. Head over to trumpetstudio.com to grab your copies of the Ultimate Warm-Up, the Ultimate Technical Study, and if you've got gig season coming up, the Ultimate Wedding Book.
Thanks for hanging out in the studio with us today. We'll catch you on the next episode.
Now go practice!